and welcome to this video on question 17 of partial sum of an arithmetic series. This question is a bit of a trickier one because it has quite a few steps to get to the final solution. It involves simultaneous equations, some simple substitutions, and a little bit of thinking about how to get through part of this problem. So the important things to note about is that we're given the 20th term. We're also given this sum of the 6th to 10th terms, which is 235. And we're being asked to find the sum of the first 20 terms. So this is our problem. So we need to set up for our simultaneous equations. So the first one that we can do is around that 20th term. So we can use our terms of an arithmetic sequence and get this equation going, and this equation will help set us up for the first equation we'll use in the simultaneous problem. So in here we know that the 20th term is 131. We don't know a, we know that n is 20, and because n is 20, n minus 1 will be 19, so that gives us a plus 19d. This gives us our first equation, or equation 1. So we're going to use that one in terms of our simultaneous equations. To get our next simultaneous equation section ready, we need to use our sum of an arithmetic sequence formula. So that's this one. So that's that formula, and this formula is going to help us with that 6th to 10th terms inclusive sum and working out how we're going to use that to find out the sum of the 20 terms. So what we need to remember here though is that we only want the 6th to the 10th term. 6th to the 10th term. So the 6th to the 10th term sum is 235. Now if we just go straight into the sum of 5 terms, we're only going to get the sum of the first 5 terms. It's going to assume, or the equation we're using is going to assume that 235 is the sum of the first 5 terms, not the sum of the second 5 terms. So we need to do a little bit of subtracting here, and we're going to take the sum of the 10 and take away the sum of the first 5, and that will give us our equation to use. So here we're going to have the sum of the 10, take away the sum of the first 5, because that's what's happening here. And we're going to need to use our equation twice, because we've got 2 things to do. Sum of the 10, sum of the 5. So 2 things to do. We have the 10 over 2, 1. And obviously 10 minus 1 is 9. Take away the 5 over 2, 1. And obviously 5 minus 1 is 4. So there's our setup, and that's what we're getting ready to do. And this is going to lead us to our second equation for our simultaneous equations problem. So we know the answer to this is 235. Okay, so the sum of the 10 minus the sum of the first 5, that answer is 235. We've been given that in the question. Let's now go to sorting out what's going to happen with the rest of it. So we divide by 2 on these ones, and we'll leave the fraction alone, because just working with that fraction is just going to be a little bit easier in terms of what we're doing. So 235 is going to stay the same. We're going to get rid of our brackets now. So we have 10a, and not 9d, but 45d. All right, because we're multiplying across the whole of the bracket. Now 5 over 2 times 2, well that's going to be 5. And then 5 over 2 times 4, well that's going to be 10. Alright, so then this, because that should be a plus there, sorry about that. So now we should have minus 10d in there because we have a minus times a positive, or a minus times a plus. Simplify that all out. 235 hasn't changed. 10a minus 5a, well that is going to be 5a. And 45d minus 10d, well that'll be 35d. So here's our next equation. Now you can see from that equation that that's not really going to help us much with the simultaneous equations thing. So we need to do something that's not going to change any of the values that we need to look at, but helps us with actually working in that simultaneous equation environment. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide this one by 5. Okay, so as you see, if you divide this one by 5, you'll end up with A, and you'll end up with 7D. You're going to be working with much smaller numbers than if we times the other one by 5. Okay, so instead of multiplying equation 1 by 5, we're going to divide equation 2 by 5. And that is going to lead us to 235 divided by 5, which is 47. Alright, then we have A and 7D. So then that is our next equation. So that's going to be equation 3. Okay, and that's the two equations we're going to work with, is 1 and 3. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to go equation 1 minus equation 3. Equation 1 minus equation 3. So let's set that one up. Alright, so equation 1 Alright, let's put them in brackets just so that we can keep those equations separate. And there we have that first line of equation 1 minus equation 3. So here we go now. So let's spread all this out so this one doesn't change. Our first two terms stay the same, and then these ones, oops, did I get that wrong? Yes, I did. They should be pluses in there. Sorry about that. Now that should be a minus. And 131 minus 47. That's going to give us 84. Okay, simplifying it through again. All right, we get rid of those A's. A minus A obviously being 0. 19D minus 7D is 12D is 84. We divide everything by 12. And we end up with D equals 7. So our common difference is that D equals 7. Okay, now so we've got the value of D now. All we need now is the value of A. So let's go back and choose one of our equations. I'm just going to go back and choose the first one because that's just the easiest one to do. Well, not necessarily the easiest one to do. It's just my common practice. You can choose any of the three equations that we've got. It should work out to be exactly the same. We substitute in. Now 19 times 7 is 133. If we take that away from both sides, we get A equals minus 2. So that is our first term. Okay, so now we have all the bits and pieces of information that we need to find the sum of the first 20 terms. Okay, start with our formula. Easy way to go is always to start with the formula first. Alright, so we want the sum of the first 20 terms. So we get set up, we start in substituting in. We have 2 times minus 2. 20 minus 1 obviously is 19. And then the difference is 7. Alright, so now we have 10. We have minus 4. And we worked out before that 19 times 7 is 133. Alright, so 10 outside of 133 minus 4, which is 99. Well, not 99, it's 129. I'm going off 103, not 133. 133 minus 4 is 129, which gives us 1,290. So the sum of the first 20 terms is 1,290. Hopefully that has assisted you in working with this type of problem, and we'll catch you in the next video.